here, should I buy back military time, and who's eligible to do so? So if you served our country, I just want to say thank you for your service first and foremost, and then share this bit of information with you. If you're now serving in the civilian service and you have not bought back your military time, you're going to want to look at this, and sooner the better, right? Because interest does accrue. We know we're in a rising interest rate environment, so that money that you haven't paid back, there's the clock's ticking. Interest is accruing on that. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so this example here, I'm just going to tell you straight away, this individual that we took these numbers from was a higher income earner. It was a supervisor for a law enforcement, a group, federal employees. And so these numbers are a little bit on the high side, but the math is still very similar for most people, where it almost always makes mathematical sense. And there's what we call a very short break even for you to buy back your military time and have it make mathematical sense and have that, pay out and get ahead of that, that deposit you have to make through an increased pension very, very shortly. So this individual, I'll just go through the example. Military time was 8 years, 6 months. His deposit without interest was $3,200. The interest he owed that it accrued was $2,500. He just was, he told me his story was he was, young family starting out, didn't have the money to put back. And so that $2,500 really built. And you could see it was almost as much as the original deposit owed. So his total deposit, including interest, was $5,700. And so he paid that back. And so that was 8 years, 6 months was equal to 8.5 years at 1%. So he was going to get 8.5% added on to his pension calculation. And so his high 3 was $150,000. And so that increased his pension meaningfully. So this was phenomenal for him and his family. The $5,700 that he had to pay back, and the increase he was then going to get, that $12,750, that 8.5% of his high 3, it took him less than half of a year, 5.4 months to break even. I mean, that's the definition of no brainer, right? You put that money in and you get it back in 5.5 months. And then from there, you're in the black, right? You're out in front, and it made a ton of sense to do that. So, this is a pretty easy calculation for anyone to use for their own scenario, for their own numbers. And so by all means, use this and plug it in if you haven't already. Start working on buying back that military time.